Yo, Uchiha here, people. Welcome back to the channel where today we'll be talking about Boruto episode 134. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy Boruto and Naruto content. Of course, fair warning, if you haven't watched the episode yet, of course, spoilers await. And if you did, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So episode 134 of Boruto. Yo, honestly, it's one of those episodes where I have to say, it really and truly reminded me what I loved about this franchise when I initially got into it, and it's the tactics and the strategy that was on display throughout most of the series. It really reminded me of like the charm of part 1 Naruto, or at least the first half or the earlier sections of part 2 or Shippuden. Yo, honestly, Jiraiya, Boruto, and Naruto really put in the work this episode to take down Urashiki. And the fight's not over. If you've been following the spoilers, you would know that episode 135 should be the final, or at least the end of the fight against Urashiki. So the fight's not over for the most part. But yo, this episode, definitely a solid entry. And if you're a big fan of part 1 Naruto, or even early part 2, which who isn't really, you'll definitely love this episode, I would say. But starting from the beginning, what I must say is that, and I have to be honest, from an animation standpoint, and at the same time I'm not really an animation expert, but I just thought that the animation in this episode was a bit it wasn't really all bad, especially the earlier parts, seeing like Boruto and Naruto, or basically everybody just running into Urashiki to get kicked down. It just looked kind of funny or weird or ridiculous to me, honestly. But as I've been saying, the animation in this episode didn't have to be great for it to be solid. The tactics and the strategy and everything that was employed to actually take down Urashiki in this episode was really the selling point for me. Now, in the beginning, we have everybody basically being kicked down by Urashiki. Sasuke, who is still out of chakra, it's basically a community joke at this point, plays distraction to get Urashiki out of there so that the others can escape. Of course, going towards the middle section, we have the start of the build-up towards the major highlight of this episode, where Boruto wants to conduct a test on Urashiki. And it's through this test we have the midsection of this episode where they actually come back to combat Urashiki after Sakura actually rescues Sasuke and starts healing him. Now, in this test, the objective, or based on what we saw in the episode, they actually investigate and determine, or kind of start to deduce what Urashiki's abilities is, his ability to see the future really and truly is. Now we have that scene where Boruto basically gets cut by Urashiki and blood kind of just splashes on Boruto and Urashiki, but the blood on Urashiki itself kind of dries faster than Boruto, and from that Jiraiya and Boruto, and to that end I must say their kind of rapport or vibe, or the back and forth between Jiraiya and Boruto kind of planning and deducing and kind of analyzing, that was pretty good. I like that tidbit right there. Of course, Naruto being Naruto in these moments doesn't really have much to contribute, which is pretty incorrect. You can't really expect much there, but it was still funny, a little comedy right there at the same time. But yeah, they did use three things. That one, the blood actually dries faster on Urashiki, either because he's producing heat or he's surrounded by wind style, which it's neither of those two. Or Jiraiya deduces that it's more than likely a case where the blood or Urashiki has experienced a longer period of time in comparison to Boruto, which I must say, Jiraiya, this arc has been doing wonders to kind of remind you just how credible of a ninja Jiraiya is and how worthy he is of the title Sanin. That was cool, honestly. So the big conclusion is that we find out that Urashiki can relive moments. He's basically kind of like rewind time up to a few seconds and then choose the best possible outcome. When I heard that, it kind of reminded me of Izanagi. For those of you that remember, Izanagi, that jutsu that Danzo and that Danzo used in his fight against Sasuke, and that Uchiha kind of classified as forbidden, especially since it kind of takes your eyesight to use it. Sorry about that. Ooh, well, not cutting that out. But yeah, so this jutsu that Urashiki is using kind of reminded me of it. It kind of felt like an alternative or a slightly upgraded version of Izanagi in a sense. So that was pretty cool. Now, to me, this section of the episode is probably the highlight, the payoff to all of this planning that we got in the episode when Jiraiya decided to use the whole frog stomach jutsu. I'm more than likely got the name wrong, but don't crucify me. And you know, we have that scene with Boruto and Naruto using a bunch of shadow clones to go after him just to stall some time. Yo, when Urashiki basically coughed up blood and succumbed to the acidic nature of the stomach, and Jiraiya was giving this explanation, I'm just like, yo, okay, this is cool, but why aren't you guys being affected? And like, I wasn't putting two and two together based on what was already established in the episode at this point, so I'm still kind of lost at this point. But when he says like, yo, the fact that you can relive the moments like over and over again, you've basically experienced a longer period of time in the stomach than us. And I'm like, yo, yes, that does make sense. Yo, this was an ingenious plan. So I'm like, say, yo, this is pretty cool. Honestly, it's sick. Honestly, so yeah, they managed to weaken Urashiki and finish him off, quote unquote, with a Naruto stream, as Boruto dubs it. Naruto just basically uses a Rasengan, and Boruto basically just pushes him off with a wind style to kind of amplify the force. So yeah, and then after that we have like Konohamaru and gang show up out of nowhere. That was kind of random, to be honest. It's just like out of nowhere. But anyway, the episode basically ends with them kind of celebrating for the most part. And yeah, that's where the episode ends. But what I will say, yeah, it was definitely a solid episode. Not gonna lie. I mean, from the back and forth between Jiraiya and Boruto, kind of highlighting how credible, or in comparison to Naruto, how knowledgeable or, you know, non-dumb Jiraiya and Boruto are. And you know, still having Naruto in character there, because you know he's not the strategy type. You know, he's kind of on the fly, on the moment. He doesn't really understand like complex concepts. So that kind of made for some decent comedy, but at the same time highlighting the true difference between Boruto and Naruto as, you know, intellects, or as they put it, Boruto's a genius and Naruto's not really so much. And that kind of helped to, you know, build that kind of relationship, or I probably wouldn't say relationship, but their kind of back and forth or rapport or strategizing nature of the episode between Boruto and Jiraiya even more. And at the same time, it really highlighted and solidified, if you even forgot for instance, why Jiraiya is a legendary Sanin. And yo, just the payoff for the plan, honestly, just utilizing Urashiki's ability against him, in a sense, well, that's what it really and truly was. That was just, it was pretty cool. So at the same time, even though the animation in this episode wasn't really all that, it was just average, if you ask me. It didn't have to be spectacular, because really and truly the tactics is what really sold it for me, and I imagine it sold it for you guys as well. So yeah, but honestly, judging by the preview for next week's episode, I'm interested to see how it's going to go, because it seems like Urashiki is pulling out some golden rinnegan, golden Byakugan kind of deal, and yo, this guy's changing eye colors like Super Saiyan transformations. It's ridiculous. Ooh, but anyway, all in all, definitely a solid episode. Definitely enjoyed it. Pretty good. I'm interested in seeing how things turn out for next week and the following weeks after that. So yeah, let me know what you thought about the episode. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below. Of course, be sure to check out my video on, which video did I do last night again? Yeah, I forgot. I'll probably link it in the end cards here. But yeah, the video that stands out in my mind is my video on Urashiki that I did recently. So that's definitely worth a watch. It's pretty cool. It definitely does still have spoilers for people who don't read the manga, so fair warning from now. But anyway, rate, comment, subscribe, let me know what you thought, and Sandro Uchiha here, people. See you guys in the next one.